Hi there and welcome to my channel Taslima Maya Art. This is Taslima. So today I'm going to be showing you how to use alcohol inks to create this wonderful pink rose. And what I'm using to do this is a couple of different types of things that you'll need. One is the Posca white pencil, and that's oil based or wax based, and you can buy this from Amazon. You simply take a sheet of UPO paper here and you use the pencil to draw an outline of anything that you please. Here I've chosen to do a rose, and I found this as a royalty-free, copyright-free outline on the internet. There's many sites as well, and I list some of them in my description box where you can get similar images. If you do a simple kind of search as well, you'd come up with a lot of images. Just make sure that they're royalty free and copyright free. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I have diluted some of my inks, and I'll put down in the description what inks I'm using and a list of the colors as well. I've diluted them into these small needle top bottles. You can buy these little bottles on Amazon as well, and I'll put the link in for you if you want to have a look. I've diluted them with alcohol, and mine is 99% rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. Now, all I'm doing now is I'm using two colors here. I think actually three colors, two greens and a yellow, and I'm putting them into each of the segments of the outline that I've done. The outline I did using pencil, and I simply put it over a light box or a tablet, the UPO sheet, and I just traced an outline. And what I'm doing here is making sure the colours mix together in a way that's aesthetic. And I'm using a small dotting tool, which is also used for nail art, and a handheld blower such as this one. So you can get many of these as well on Amazon, and sometimes they come in these sets that you buy for alcohol ink art. Now, the masking technique using these wax pencils or Posca pencils was learnt from or inspired by Lone Simono, who's also on YouTube. So please do check her channel out as well. She's got some great videos using this technique. And as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm simply lifting my UPO paper up and tilting it to try and get the colours to intermix together in a way that I find pleasing. And sometimes I'm using my dotting tool to allow some of the ink to run into some of the corners, which are a little bit trickier. You can see there that one of the leaves I made a mistake, and some of the ink spilled over the masking line, and I've had to clean that up with a little bit of wet wipe and alcohol on my wet wipe and rubbing it clear. It's much harder to try and clean up UPO paper as opposed to Darola or other types of paper, so just keep that in mind if you're a beginner. You can use things like craft plastic instead, or Darola, or there's many other things that you can use to do your alcohol art, ink art on. It doesn't have to be this type of paper that's less forgiving. Now here I am about to start the rose part, and it is sometimes quite hard to see the outlines unless you've got a lamp nearby, which is what I have set up, because the wax crayon that I used actually was a white crayon, and white on white is not very visible, as you can imagine. And I'm sure you guys on the camera can't even see it at all, but it is there, the outline is there, and I'm simply tilting it into the light to be able to see which segments I need to fill and how. Now, the way I do this technique, I am a beginner at this art and I'm still learning. So what I'm doing is quite simple. I'm simply tilting or tipping in the ink, mixing it up by, moving the paper around, using the blower when I need to, when too much ink pools together. And I'm also using a cotton bud to try and lift off some of the ink when it's too dark in places, like so. And that's really helpful if you're a beginner, to try and, trying to get to grips with how much ink you actually need in each segment is quite a hard thing to learn. And this sort of helps you along at the start anyway of your journey. The other thing to remember as well is there are literally so many different tools you can use to make your alcohol art. It's amazing in terms of all the possibilities. Now I can use dotting tools. I can use felt stamps. I can use all sorts of manner of things to try and get some really cool effects. Um, Also, once it's actually dry, you can add inks on top to make it more semi-transparent and have colors intermixing. And there's literally endless possibilities with this art. So the best thing is to really, really experiment yourself, watch lots of videos and see the different techniques and try and learn how the alcohol moves, how the inks move along your substrate. And also try maybe on tiles if you're a beginner, because that's really easy to wipe clean and try again if you make mistakes or if it doesn't look the way you want it to. So there's lots of really cool tips if you're a beginner of what to do. I just went straight forward with this one. I did have quite a few fails in the first week of getting my inks and starting this art, and I threw a fair bit of Yupo paper away, which is actually not great because it's really expensive stuff. And then I had to go at doing some blooms or flowers on tile, which was much easier because I could just clean it off when I made a mistake. So this is probably my fourth flower attempt, and I'm really quite happy with the way it turns out. I think there's a lot that could be improved with it as well, because I don't really use many tools to try and change how it looks. Other than the two tools or three tools you see, the blower, the cotton bud, and the dotting tool, which is what I use primarily on this one. I'm hoping to get better as well, and make more videos as I do progress. But I do love sharing what I create with you, particularly for the people who are complete beginners, similar to me, to see actually you can do this yourselves as well. Okay, so it's not impossible, it's actually really doable. You just need to practice a fair bit to get to this stage. Here's a shout out as well to my friend Charmaine Mitchell, who's a brilliant artist, and she's, miles ahead of me in this art, and she's also a beginner, but she's racing ahead, and she's created some wonderful stuff. And I'll just pop her YouTube channel up on the screen for you to have a look at. Do check her out. She's been the one who's been egging me on and telling me not to give up every time I thrown in the towel with this art, and trying to get to grips with it. So thank you for that, Charmaine. And look what I've created. I'm really happy with this one. So as you'll see, as we progress on the video, it does turn out really, really nice. Now I'll stop talking and I'll let you listen to some music and see how the finished result turns out and how I get there. So see you in a while. And here's the finished result, and I'm really happy with it. I hope you like it too. If you enjoyed the video or learnt anything, please do press like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye now.